Kingdom Hearts has been out on Steam for a little over a month now, and with many people reaching endgame and shifting their focus to achievement hunting, I figured it'd be a good time to discuss the rare Heartless of Kingdom Hearts 1 that were originally introduced in the final Mix Edition. These Heartless added new materials that not only made farming for synthesis materials more complex, but also allows for the creation of completely new items altogether. Items of note from this edition include Fantasista, Donald's most powerful stave, 7 Elements, Goofy's highest magic shield, which, when used in conjunction with the evolution ability, can be argued is his best shield, and the coveted Ultima Weapon, which is one of Sora's best weapons in Kingdom Hearts 1. While some of these Heartless require you to simply find and defeat them, some of them involve rather tricky tactics if you hope to acquire their elusive drop. So let's discuss where you can find each of them, and how you can ensure you have the best chances of farming their materials. Before we get into each Heartless, I want to mention that there are a few things that will make this endeavor exponentially easier. I recommend having Lucky Strike equipped on all party members, as this will increase your chances of getting rare drops regardless of which party member lands the finishing blow. When you obtain this ability depends on the item you choose at the beginning of the game, as Sora learns it at level 24 with the Dream Shield, 48 with the Dream Rod, or 90 with the Dream Sword. I recommend equipping it the minute you obtain it, even before deliberately farming for synthesis materials so that you have less grinding to do when you reach the point of making it your focus in the game. As for your party members, Donald learns Lucky Strike at level 55, with Goofy learning it at level 27. Peter Pan, Aladdin, and Ariel also have the ability by default unless unequipped. Another ability that's invaluable in this grind is Encounter Plus, which will cause Heartless to respawn in a given area after moving only one room over, as opposed to the default 2 rooms. This will save you a ton of time, however bear in mind that sometimes you'll want to move over 2 rooms if you've moved a room over multiple times without spawning the desired Heartless. You acquire Encounter Plus from the Synthesis Moogle after creating 15 unique items. First, we have the Gyga's Shadow, which drops Fury Stones and can be found in the Bizarre Room of Wonderland. It will spawn after 3 waves of Shadow Heartless, and each will despawn after hitting Sora, so your goal is to avoid being hit by them. Some opt for spamming Thundaga whilst using Arrow against these enemies, while others opt for the use of Dumbo to weaken them while not allowing them to hit you. With high enough strength, I find the easiest method is to use Stop Magic when a few of them are clustered and wailing on them. Higher MP and Stop Magic will allow the duration of Stop to last longer, as well as your magic to dish out more damage if you go the Thundaga route. Found in the 2nd district of Traverse Town, the Sniper Wild drops Power Stones. If you don't see it wandering about the courtyard in front of the fountain, you can enter the hotel to farm the Defenders and Wizards for money and experience and, if you're very lucky, their rare weapon drops, the Defender's Shield for Goofy and the Wizard's Relic for Donald, which in themselves are some of the best weapons for each character respectively. If they spot you, they will spawn reinforcements that will attack you relentlessly, and defeating any of them will no longer yield any drops. The only way to reset this is to leave to another area and return after. Upon spotting one, I like to super glide over to it without being seen and attack it with a combo. If your strength isn't high enough to take them out in a few shots, Stop will give you a window to assault them without being detected. After defeating the first one, 2 more will spawn, followed by another 3 after they're defeated. Stop becomes increasingly essential as more spawn, however after defeating a wave of 3, the count resets to 1 and the cycle repeats. Higher MP and higher level Stop Magic will make this significantly easier. It may be wise to wait until one jumps up onto the higher walkways on the sides on its own to isolate it and further reduce your chances of being detected by others in the courtyard. The Black Ballad drops Lightning Stones and can be found above the mossy rock in the bamboo thicket of the deep jungle. When approached, it will split into 5. One of these 5 will pop up before they proceed to shuffle about, and your goal is to track the one that popped up and attack it when they're done shuffling. They will do this multiple times, and the more times you successfully hit the correct one, the greater your chances of obtaining a lightning stone both upon striking it and when the enemy despawns. To make this easier, stand back far enough so that your camera shows the entirety of the area the Black Ballads will move, and spam the pause button in a rhythmic fashion. This can take a bit of getting used to. By utilizing the pauses, it becomes much easier to track the correct Heartless to then hit it. You may also get lucky while trying to spawn it by entering the camp and finding some white mushrooms that you can fight to obtain the different magic arts items through playing their minigame successfully. Also found in the deep jungle is the pink Agaricus, which spawns in the treehouse and drops Serenity powers. There will be 3 white mushrooms in the area that you must cast Stop Magic on in order to summon it. One of these mushrooms is almost always on the ramp up to the actual treehouse as you enter the area and serves as a good indicator that the instance you're in is viable for the pink Agaricus to appear. Upon satisfying the white mushrooms with Stop Magic, the pink Agaricus will spawn within the treehouse. approach it and cast arrow magic on yourself while in proximity of the pink Agaricus. Then, jump up and cast stop while in the air so that your arrow magic hits the Agaricus before you land, proceeding to immediately cast Ragnarok. After Ragnarok has completed, perform 1 to 2 aerial combos before it becomes available again and cast it immediately. You need to hit the Heartless at least 40 times for a chance at obtaining its drop, but a higher hit count will result in greater chances of getting it, with 40 to 60 hits yielding a 10% chance, 70 to 90 hits yielding a 20% chance, and 100 hits guaranteeing not only a Serenity power, but also a Mr. Goo and the Prime Cap accessory. To achieve a higher hit count, maximize Sora's MP and use Stopga, which is obtained by defeating the Phantom Secret boss in Neverland. The Hurricane Blast ability also quickens aerial combo finishers, allowing you to use Ragnarok more rapidly. Moving on to Agrabah, the Pot Scorpion drops Mithril Stones at the palace gates. There will be 12 pots on the ground indicating that you've managed to spawn the Pot Scorpion. Walk into these pots, destroying them if you're able to push them. One of the pots will not move as you push it, and you want to hit this one last as the Pot Scorpion is in disguise here. Be careful when destroying pots, as Sora's horizontal slash could hit other pots in the process if you're not cautious. Once you hit the Pot Scorpion, cast Arrow Magic and proceed to assault it with counterattack, being sure to upkeep Arrow Magic so that it will automatically counter the Scorpion when it physically attacks to knock it on its back. It's at this point that it becomes vulnerable to attacks, so try to land as many hits as you can during this small window. Upon defeating it, you have a chance to obtain a Mithril Stone. In rare cases, destroying all of the other pots will yield you a Mithril Stone before you fight the Heartless, but this is rather uncommon. If you find yourself needing to move over 2 rooms to get it to spawn, I suggest going to the Bazaar, where you have a chance of encountering some black fungus which you can fight for a chance at other rare items. The Grand Ghost, found in Monstro's throat, drops Frost Stones, and can only be defeated through the use of recovery items, including Ethers. Some folks prefer to give it lower level recovery items like potions to save resources, though I prefer to use elixirs to expedite the process as well as increase the chances of obtaining the Frost Stone. With 300 HP, the Grand Ghost only requires 2 elixirs to defeat, and has dropped up to 3 Frost Stones in one attempt by doing this when lucky. It will always drop a Frost Stone if defeated before despawning, but higher level items increase the chances of additional stones dropping before its defeat. Perhaps the most frustrating part of this fight is that if it leaves your proximity enough, you may accidentally use the item on a party member instead. Found in the Manor Ruins of Halloween Town, the Chimera drops Blazing Stones, appearing after 3 waves of White Knights. It has an initial HP bar that must be depleted to start the next phase. It will then release the 3 heads it contains in its jar-like body and reveal its true HP while summoning gargoyles as reinforcements. The more times you manage to deflect these heads, the greater your chances of obtaining a Blazing Stone upon vanquishing it. As these heads hit Sora or party members successfully, they'll return to the Chimera until he goes back to his first phase. To increase the window of time in which you can inflict meaningful damage, I suggest keeping Erogo maintained on yourself at all times, as this will deflect the heads for you. Some folks also suggest using summons like Bambi or Simba to take your party members off the field, which allows for the heads to focus on Sora, but I prefer going for an all-out assault focused on the Chimera, as I usually keep my material farming for the later bit of the game. The Jet Balloon will drop Dazzling Stones upon its defeat on the deck of Hook's ship in Neverland. This Heartless is notoriously quick, so stop magic is highly recommended against it. It will shoot missile divers at you, which will siphon money out of you faster than the US government and expensive escorts combined, so be sure to use arrow magic to deflect said missiles if necessary. Treasure Magnet will help you regain any money you drop, as you want to make sure you have at least 100 money upon vanquishing the Jet Balloon, so that it'll drop a Dazzling Stone. While you should make an effort to reduce its HP as quickly as possible, be sure to vanquish the Heartless above the ship and not over water, as you may get unlucky and lose the stone to the depths below if not. There's a 20% chance it will drop an additional stone upon being vanquished, which can be increased with the Lucky Strike ability. Stealth Soldiers can be found in both the Entrance Hall and the Grand Hall areas of Hollow Bastion, and drop energy stones. I personally prefer to farm this enemy in the Grand Hall area, as I also get a chance to take on more Heartless with other rare drops in the process. A Stealth Soldier has a chance to spawn at the lower part of the Grand Hall, which you'll be able to identify if 2 large bodies spawn for the second wave in the foyer section, and again on the platform you fought Riku a second time after defeating 3 large bodies. Move your lock-on around until it targets an invisible target and cast Stop Magic, being sure to close the distance to the enemy quickly to dish out as much damage as you can before it wears off after a short time. Continue to cast Stop every time it wears out until eventually the invisibility will wear off as the soldier nears death. Having higher MP and Stop Magic will make this process quicker and easier. Lastly, the ominous-looking Neo Shadow dropped Stormy Stones and can be found in the Linked Worlds area right next to the final rest of the End of the World. These Heartless are rather straightforward, simply requiring that you vanquish them for a chance at their drops. They are, however, quite powerful, and as you vanquish more of them, their assault tactics change a bit. The use of guard and stop will help you take on the 7 that spawn upon entering the area, and as you whittle that number down to 4, they'll begin to jump through dark portals in the ground. They'll have brief moments of vulnerability when they touch the ground after this, which gives you a chance to land a few hits on them before they repeat this process. When you've gotten them down to only 2 Heartless remaining, one will continue to attack you while the other will try to grab Sora's leg from below, holding him in place to be attacked by the attacking Neo Shadow. This can be avoided with jumps and gliding. With one last Shadow remaining, it will begin to summon another 6 allies. Your goal here is to defeat this last Heartless before it successfully summons reinforcements, or you'll be repeating this process from the start again. And with that, we've covered each of the rare Heartless and their elusive material drops that were introduced with the final mixed version of Kingdom Hearts. I intend to start releasing more Kingdom Hearts videos soon, including covering some pretty cool merch I've acquired over the years, as well as extensively covering Missing Link if that game ever manages to come out. So if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, I'd greatly appreciate it if you liked it and subscribed for future content. You can also join me as I do a completionist run through the entire series on stream, both here on YouTube and on Twitch, with links to all my socials in the description below. Thanks for joining me, and may your heart be your guiding key.